Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm making this video, and there was a conversation that I had with a brother that um, actually prompted this video. So I'm going to preface, I guess, the message of what I want to say with the conversation that I had with a brother yesterday. I was in the masjid yesterday. I was sitting down, I had my laptop open, I was preparing my lesson for class today. And there's a brother who, I see him frequently. We give salams, we're cordial, shake hands, not a lot of conversation. But last night I heard him listening to a lecture. So I said to him, "Who are you listening to?" And he said, "I'm listening to Abu Usama." And I said, "Oh, okay, okay." And I used to know Abu Usama back in the day. And so, I told him that, and he sat down and we started to have a conversation. And then the brother expressed to me that he had been in federal prison for the last 9 years and had gotten out, I guess, this year. He said that when he returned home, he returned to nothing. No infrastructure, no support. His family are non-Muslim. The brothers he used to roll with in the hood, obviously non-Muslim. So he made a conscious decision to connect himself to the masjid. So every day you can find the brother in the masjid running the vacuum, sweeping and mopping, setting up tables, breaking down tables and chairs for events, things like this. Connecting himself to the masjid is obviously praiseworthy. It's intelligent. It's a good thing to do, but it's not a long-term solution to his everyday life. You have to eat. You have to have a place to live. You should have, decent transportation, you know. But anyway, as we began to talk more, I asked him some of the other African American, and this brother was African American. I asked him about if he was familiar with Sheikh Tahir Wyatt, if he was hip to Muhammad Munir, Abu Sajid, Ali Davis, the brothers over at the Imam Muslim Family Center in Philadelphia. And he said he hadn't heard of any of these brothers. So, I showed him on YouTube and where he should go. And we had the conversation that, something dawned on me. And this is something that I had thought about before. It so seems that every single African American da'i, for some reason, is warned against. We're always told not to take from them, not to take from this individual or that individual. He has this problem. He made this statement. Therefore, he's not worthy for us to take knowledge from. Most of the people that are warned against just so happen to be graduates from well-known Islamic universities. They have successfully traversed rigorous Islamic academic programs in order to graduate. Not everyone can do that. And it just so happens that everyone that's African American, for some reason, is always warned against. And that's something that I think is sort of problematic. Why do I say that? The African American community has pathologies and issues and some problems that are, sort of specific to us based on our unique history in the United States. In order to fix some of the problems that we have, recidivism, alcoholism, drugs, criminal behavior, being on welfare, we need to have people who are knowledgeable to those types of situations. They understand it because quite possibly they're from those same situations. The expectation should not be that other people come into our community and fix our problems. We have problems that we sort of need to grab the bull by the horns and sort of correct these issues ourselves. We can't sit around all day. And I want you to understand, this is not a knock against anybody. This is not, against anybody. This is not speaking ill of anybody, because I know the mentality. There's always someone that'll chime in and say, oh, this is race-based da'wah. No, it's not race-based da'wah, but it's tactical da'wah or tactical application, because the communities that many of us as African Americans are from, we have issues that need to be addressed. And these issues thus far by most of the da'at have not been addressed. See, we can sit up all day and learn Islamic terminologies, and we can learn, Tawheed, and we can learn Bid'ah and Shirk, and, we can learn all of these things. And alhamdulillah, we have to know what these terms mean. We have to. It's fard. We must know. But the issue becomes practical application. How do I use my Islamic knowledge to correct or make better my reality, my situation? The brother Sheikh Tahir Wyatt and the brothers at the Imam Muslim Family Center and Muhammad Munir and these brothers are from African American experience. So they understand the mentality. They understand many times why or how we came to be into this, in the situation that we're in, and have the Islamic training to aid us in getting out of these situations. Again, this is not race-based da'wah. And let me give you a scenario. The people from Philistines, in the masjid, they hold a charity event, or they hold a lecture series in reference to what's going on with our brothers and sisters. Notice I didn't say their brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters in Philistine, dealing with, Israel and all of that. When they bring to light the oppression and they bring to light what's going on, and they're asking for aid, is that race-based da'wah? Do we view that as race-based da'wah? I don't think so. When the Syrians ask for money so that they can send care packages, or they ask for a clothing donation and non-perishables and things like this to send to the people of Syria to help them, our brothers and sisters in Syria, is that race-based da'wah? No, that's addressing a problem. That's trying to aid your brother in fixing an issue. So much so, when the African Americans say, we have problems that are specific to us, and we need to have some solutions, and we need to come together to sort of brainstorm and bring our knowledge and our skill sets from wherever they may be to sort of fix our situation, we always get, well, that's asabiya, that's ta'assub, that's nationalism, that's race-based da'wah. But when other groups seek to fix issues, address issues, fix problems that are in their community that are specific to them, it's not viewed as race-based da'wah. It's not viewed as asabiya or ta'assub. And we are wholeheartedly willing to donate money, donate time, donate this, donate that to sort of help the cause, as well we should be. Why is it different if African Americans say, you know something, we have some issues that we need to have addressed? You have to excuse me, I'm in the classroom and the lights are they're on timers. But anyway, we have issues that need to be addressed, and these issues thus far have not really been addressed. They haven't been addressed on a large enough scale that change is on the horizon. Alhamdulillah. Some of the brothers now are becoming more enlightened, and they understand that we can't stand and wait for other ethnicities to come and save us. The saviors are not coming. We have to save ourselves first by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then by our own hand, the work that we put in, because no one else is going to come and save us. No one else is going to come and invest in our communities enough to make a change for the African Americans throughout the country. This also applies to the African American Muslim, not just the African American non-Muslim, but understand the mentality, the problems, the pathologies that exist in the African American community exist in the African American Muslim community, because we come from this experience, and then we take shahada, and then we are the same person economically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, from our experiences. We're the same person, but now we're just Muslim, but we move the same. We need to learn how to apply Islam to our reality to fix it. As a collective, we have brothers who have a skill set in economics. We have brothers who have skill sets in the various aspects of deen. We have brothers who have skill sets in masonry and carpentry and plumbing and all of these different things. It takes all of those to come together, to brainstorm, to pool our resources, to figure out how to fix our situation. And I cannot lie to you, I'm past that part where I'm so much concerned with what other people think. I'm past that. It's now time to put in work. It's now time for the people who have skill sets that would benefit the people to come together and actually start coming up with a plan. Again, some of our brothers who, for whatever reason, always seem to be warned against. Again, African Americans, the brother Sheikh Tahir Wyatt and Mufti Munir and Abu Sajid and Ali Davis and, all the rest. We need them. Bottom line, we need them. We need them to guide us and to help us. That doesn't mean that we don't need the scholars overseas. That's not what it means. And again, I know the mentality. I know the divide and conquer tactic. I understand the deflecting, oh, well, he's saying that, we don't need the scholars overseas. He's trying to guide us to only listen to. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the people who are from us have a good or a better understanding of us and our culture and our existence and our history to sort of guide us to fix some of the problems that we have, in a nutshell. And I hope that makes sense. This is not a knock against anybody. Matter of fact, I'd like to give a shout out to brother Sheikh Farouk Post, because, and also brother Sajid Lippum, and I'll tell you why. Many times when you speak to non-POC, people of color, about these types of issues, the response many times is they take it personal. They become defensive. They want to fight about it. They want to argue about it. They want to deny white privilege. They want to, well, I don't have white privilege. I didn't grow up this way. I didn't grow up that way. Not really understanding white privilege, not really understanding how it affects them and that entire dynamic and how they benefit from it. My point is, I don't see that from Sheikh Farouk Post, and I don't really see that from the brother Sajid Lippum. They both seem to honestly want to address the issue. How many times have we heard that the ummah is one ummah, and that there's a morsel of flesh, and then if that morsel of flesh is, is sick, then the whole body is sick, and it's the heart. Does that not apply to us African Americans? And I'm talking to other ethnicities. Don't you see that we have problems? Not to negate the fact that you have problems too, and everyone has to sort of fend for self somewhat. But we should support each other and not deny or look down upon each other. African Americans have a very unique history in the United States, and that history plays a major role in who we are as a people. It plays a major role in who, and I think many times based on ignorance, people don't know the actual history of us in America and everything that we've gone through, from slavery to the black codes and black laws to Jim Crow to mass incarceration, the obliteration of the black family, the media attack, subliminal attack, and overt attacks of images of African Americans, which corrupt how we see ourselves and how others see us. Having traveled overseas, I've had some of the craziest questions about African Americans. And I know that it's based on media images that are being shot out from the US to various countries. So we're seen in a certain light. And then what happens is we begin to adopt the images ourselves as African Americans, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We begin to fulfill the expectations of these images and fulfilling the expectations of the society and the world of how we are supposed to be. I had a friend of mine who just returned from Kuwait, and I don't want to misquote, but he posted on Facebook, one of the Kuwaiti students asked him, "Did you used to be a gangster?" Why do you think he asked that? Because that is how we are portrayed. That's how the world sees us, as gangsters, as, gangbangers. If we're not that, we're basketball players, football players, we're rappers, or fresh out the penitentiary. This is the image that the world has of us. So we need to create our own narrative. We need to take a hold of ourselves and redefine who we are and become better. Number one, as Muslims. Now, let me add this to it, because I know that if I don't say it, it won't be understood. It is Islam that will correct our reality. It is Islam, and staying within the legislation, not going outside of the legislation to achieve means, or ends rather. We have to stay within the legislation. There is no success outside of Islam. There is no success outside of that. But we can have knowledge of economics. We can have knowledge of, or we can be educated. We can learn a trade. We can learn everything that a community needs. We can learn the skill sets to create communities that are vibrant, that are alive, that are healthy. That's not outside of Islam, right? Islam is not synonymous with being poor and ignorant and broke. It's not synonymous. You can be successful. You can have money. You can live a good quality of life. You can create schools for your children. For the women can become educated. How many different avenues is it to become educated now? People, they're online degrees. If we say, well, I don't want my daughter free mixing, or I don't want my son free mixing, so I won't send them to the university. No problem. Have them do online university, and they can still get a degree. We don't want our daughters to go to the gynecologist that are kuffar, that are men. So what's the alternative? Our women have to become educated. We have to have our daughters become doctors, our sisters to become doctors, to look after, so that we have some place to send our women. There's nothing that says in Islam that a woman has to be uneducated. So we need to rethink our existence and understand, or rethink how we understand things. And we need to come to a more balanced and educated understanding of how we should be moving as a people. We need to create for ourselves communities that are alive, that this deen is being taught, and that the deen is being taught in a manner that is applicable. That when I walk out of the masjid, out of a class, I have more tools than what I entered with. This is my opinion. This is what I think. And I think that we need to, as African Americans, we need to begin to look more at some of our academics who have survived the rigors of academia and gained success, and Allah has blessed them with success. We need to look to them again because they understand our reality. Nobody understands our reality better than someone from that reality. We need to look to them, seek their guidance. And that doesn't negate or exclude, rather. That doesn't exclude anyone. That doesn't exclude white Muslims. That doesn't exclude anybody else. That doesn't exclude them. This isn't, again, it's not a race-based situation per se. But it is a self-help situation. As Muslims, we are, especially as men, we are commanded to be the maintainers of our families. We are commanded to take care of our families. We are commanded to bring security and Islamic teaching and stability to our families, not to look to everybody else to save us, and not to look for everyone else to give us. Don't be the lower hand, be the upper hand, or at least be equal. This is all I'm saying. We have to address our own issues at some point, and we have to look at our academics who are from us, who understand us, who have that Islamic knowledge to know how to talk, how to apply what they've learned to sort of fix our situation. And again, it's not exclusive or it's not race-based. I hear that all the time. This is asabiya. Well, this is tribalism. This is ta'assub. This is this. This is that. It is not. And I'm confident in that because I've brought these same topics up to brothers who are graduates, some with bachelor's, masters, some with masters and PhDs, and I've reached out overseas and I've asked. There have been other people who have asked questions in reference to a video that I made, and they asked the question wrong. And the question seemingly was loaded. The way you ask the question helps to determine the answer that you're going to get. Right? So I've gone to people and asked, is it permissible to have this type of mentality, this type of position of wanting to do for self, for wanting to create for the people that are around me in my circle a better reality? And every time I've gotten the same answer, there's no problem with this. So this is not just me making this up, freestyling, shooting from the hip. But when I need clarity, I know who to go to. So hopefully this makes sense. We need to create an infrastructure for ourselves. We have brothers coming home from prison. Oh, another thing. This brother that I spoke to who just got out of the Fed penitentiary, he said to me he felt more brotherhood in the penitentiary than he does outside of the penitentiary. And he's at the masjid every day, sweeping, mopping, cleaning, vacuuming, setting up tables, setting up chairs. He's there every day. And he said he feels more brotherhood in the prison with the Muslims than he does outside of the prison. When he got out of the prison, he said he had nothing. There was no infrastructure. There was nothing waiting for him to help him, to support him, so that he was successful as a Muslim and as a man. There was nothing waiting for him. So due to African Americans being hit with mass incarceration as an oppressive tactic, we need to have something for brothers who come home from prison. Again, we need to work on infrastructure. We need to work on infrastructure. We need to come up with programs that when a brother comes home from prison, or a brother has issues with alcoholism or drugs or, pornography or whatever the case may be, that we have something that we can say, come on in, bro, we got you. We need to do that. And anybody that wants to help, that's cool. Much appreciated. But at some point, we have to straighten the spine as a people. We need to straighten the spine and start moving. So I have to go to Salat al-Jumu'ah, and hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully it's clear. I appreciate your comments. If I said something wrong or incorrect, please point it out. If you agree with what I say, point it out as well. But I felt the need to make this video because of that conversation that I had with the brother. He really seemed like he was sort of beside himself a little bit. He was a little, I could see it. Like he was sort of disappointed, So I directed him to the website, the Facebook channel of Sheikh Tahir and Imam Muslim Family Center, and told him, it's a lot of information there, and hopefully that's a good start for the brother, to sort of heal Islamically and build his iman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.